Good morning. Hope you had a good weekend. Today we're going to go over this comparison between WhatsApp, Telegram, and Signal. These very popular apps. It's going to compare them for privacy and security. If you use these on an everyday basis, you're going to want to know what their strong points and weak points are. Before we get started, though, I wanted to say me and my family, and I know my church, we're definitely praying for those impacted by this tornado. Lots of people have lost their lives. These tornadoes, I should say, that have hit the U.S. this week. So I just wanted to throw that out there. You're definitely on our hearts. Once you see these photos here, the destruction, it's incredible. It's unbelievable. So if you want to get involved in a tangible way, I can vouch for this organization here, Texas Baptist Men. They do a lot of disaster relief work. You can see here, feeding, chainsaw, crew, shower, laundry, chaplain. They do lots of good work, not just in Texas. They go all over the place. So yeah, here's their website if you want to get involved, donate to them, volunteer with them. That'd be something great to do. So I want to throw that out there for you guys. So our story today, Signal, WhatsApp, and Telegram, what you need to know about the major security and privacy differences. I'm going to go through this here. If your choice of encrypted messaging app is a toss-up between Signal, Telegram, and WhatsApp, do not waste your time with anything but Signal. This isn't about which has cuter features, more bells and whistles, or the most convenient to use. It's purely about privacy. And if it's about privacy you're after, nothing beats Signal. I agree with that. We're going to go through this, but at the end, my conclusion, and the author as well, Signal is definitely the best for security and privacy. By now, you probably already know what happened on January 7th. In a tweet heard around the world, tech mogul Elon Musk continued his feud with Facebook by advocating people drop its WhatsApp Messenger and use Signal instead. Twitter's then CEO, recently stepped down. Jack Dorsey retweeted Musk's call. Around the same time, right-wing social network Parler went dark following the Capitol attacks. While political boycotters fled Facebook and Twitter, it was the perfect storm. The number of new users on Signal and Telegram has since surged to tens of millions. First of all, let's go through Signal here. Actually, let's leave Signal to the end. I don't know why they put it at the beginning. Let's put it at the end here. I think let's go from worst to best. WhatsApp is owned by Signal. WhatsApp is owned by Facebook. Data linked to you. Too much to list. Free. Business versions available for free. Funded by Facebook. Owned by Facebook. Not open source except for encryption. Encryption Signal protocol. Let's be clear. Between security and privacy, security is about safeguarding your data against unauthorized access, and privacy is about safeguarding your identity regardless of who has access to that data. On the security front, WhatsApp's encryption is the same as Signal's, and that encryption is secure. Sounds pretty good. So we're being asked to trust WhatsApp more than we are Signal. Oh, excuse me, but that encryption protocol is one of the few open source parts of WhatsApp. Open source just means that the code, the structure of the app has been released for the public to see. You or I may not know what we're looking at, but people that do can go in there and look and see that everything is legit. There's no nefarious tracking or anything in there that jeopardizes the security or privacy of its users. So the fact that this is not completely open source is a red flag for those worried about that kind of thing. WhatsApp's actual app and other infrastructure have also faced hacks, just as Telegram has. Jeff Bezos' phone was famously hacked in January of 2020. We referenced that a few weeks ago through a WhatsApp video message. You can go back to that video. I'll link it below, and you can watch that for more info on that. In December of the same year, Texas Attorney General alleged, though has not proven, that Facebook and Google struck a backroom deal to reveal WhatsApp message content. A spyware vendor targeted a WhatsApp vulnerability with its software to hack 1,400 devices, resulting in a lawsuit from Facebook. WhatsApp's encrypted cloud-based backup feature has long been considered a security risk by privacy experts, and was one way the FBI got evidence on notorious political fixer Paul Manafort. To top it off, WhatsApp has also become known as a haven for scam artists and malware purveyors over the years. Despite the hack, it's not the security aspect that concerns me about WhatsApp as much as the privacy. I'm not eager for Facebook to have yet another piece of software installed on my phone from which it can cull still more behavioral data via an easy to use app with a pretty interface and more security than your regular messenger. I always recommend people don't use the Facebook Messenger app. You can use it as a SMS app. When you first install it, it gives you the option. I definitely don't recommend that. And to me, WhatsApp is, you might as well just be sending Facebook all your text messages. When WhatsApp says it can't view the content of encrypted messages you send to another WhatsApp user, what it doesn't say is that there's a laundry list of other data that it collects that could be linked to your identity. Your unique device ID, it's called device fingerprinting, usage, and advertising data, purchase history, financial information, physical location, phone number, your contact information, and that of your list of contacts. What products you've interacted with, how often you use. Is that enough? Is that enough to convince you maybe WhatsApp isn't the best? At least in this a list of three here. When I asked the company why users should settle for less data privacy, a WhatsApp spokesperson pointed out that it limits what it does for the user, what it does with this user data, and that the data collection only applies to some users. For instance, financial transaction data collection would be relevant only for those WhatsApp users in Brazil where the service is available. Quote, we do not share contacts with Facebook. And we cannot see your shared location. Well, I don't know when this quote was taken, but if it was recently, they could just say, oh, sure, we don't share it with Facebook. And they share it with Meta, right? The new umbrella company that owns Facebook or runs Facebook, however they want to say. While most people use WhatsApp just to chat with friends and family, we've also begun to offer the ability for people to chat with businesses to get help or make a purchase, with health authorities to get information about COVID, with domestic violence support agencies, and with fact checkers to provide people with the ability to get accurate information, the spokesperson said. As we've expanded our service, we continue to protect people's messages and limit the information we collect. All right, so that's WhatsApp. Let's go over Telegram here. The data linked to you, your name, your phone number, contacts, user ID. Free. Yes, it's free. There's a forthcoming ad platform and premium features funded by mainly by the founder. Only partially open source, much like WhatsApp. Different encryption protocol. Telegram falls somewhere in the middle of the privacy scale, and it stands apart from other messenger apps because of its efforts to create a social network style environment. It's not really the same thing. While it doesn't collect as much data as WhatsApp, it also doesn't offer encrypted group calls like WhatsApp, nor as much user data privacy and company transparency as Signal. Data collected by Telegram that could be linked to you includes your name, phone number, contact list, user ID. Telegram also collects your IP address, something else Signal doesn't do. And unlike Signal and WhatsApp, Telegram's one-to-one messages aren't encrypted by default, rather you have to turn it on. Researchers found that while some of Telegram's MT Proto encryption scheme was open source, some portions were not. It's not completely clear what happens to your texts once they're in Telegram's servers. I don't think text messages ever land in Signal servers not encrypted. Signal has no ability to read the message. Telegram has seen several breaches. Wow. These are pretty staggering. Some 42 million Telegram user IDs and phone numbers were exposed in March of 2020, thought to be the work of Iranian government officials. It would be the second massive breach linked to Iran after 15 million Iranian users were exposed in 2016. A Telegram bug was exploited by Chinese authorities in 2019 during the Hong Kong protests. Oof, not good. Chinese authorities used this bug to crack down on protests, banning people, cutting off their ability to communicate and organize. Most recently, its GPS-enabled feature allowing you to find others near you has created obvious problems for privacy. All right, last but not least, Signal. Signal does not collect data, only your phone number. Free, no ads, funded by nonprofit Signal Foundation. Fully open source encryption Signal protocol. I wanted to also mention, I forgot this, with Telegram, that um, there's no free speech on Telegram. They've banned people on their service before. So there is that. You can agree or not with the people that were banned, but yeah, there's no free speech on Telegram. I don't believe the people that were banned were doing or talking about they weren't doing anything illegal. So back to Signal. Signal is a typical one-tap install app that can be found on your normal marketplaces like Google Play Store and Apple's App Store, and works just like the usual text messaging app. It's what I have. Some people run it side by side with their text app, but I've used it just to replace my texting app. It's an open source development provided free of charge by the nonprofit Signal Foundation, and has been famously used for years by high-profile privacy icons like Edward Snowden. Signal's main function is that it can send to either an individual or a group fully encrypted text, video, audio, and picture messages. After verifying your phone number and letting you independently verify other Signal users' identity. When it comes to privacy, it's hard to beat Signal's offer. It doesn't store your user data, and beyond its encryption prowess, it gives you extended on-screen privacy options, including app-specific locks, blank notification pop-ups, face blurring, anti-surveillance tools, and disappearing messages. Occasional bugs have proven that the tech is far from bulletproof, of course, but the overall arc of Signal's reputation and results have kept it at the top of every privacy-savvy person's list of identity protection tools. And I remember at the beginning of this year, after Parler was taken down by Amazon, and the app removed, well, previous to that, the app was removed from the stores of Google and Apple. After that'll happen, there was a lot of people worried about this kind of thing, rightly so, and they a lot of people switched to Signal all at once, and that was referred to earlier in the article. And so there were a few bugs after that. Some people weren't getting multimedia messages for a day or so, or even text messages, but that was pretty short-lived, and I haven't had any issues with it for a while. And it was obviously due to the user base, increasing, twofold or something in that amount of time, or maybe more. The Guardian, the Washington Post, the New York Times, this is great here, which also recommends WhatsApp, and the Wall Street Journal all recommend using Signal to contact their reporters safely. That's pretty good vouching for its security and anonymity there. For years, the core privacy challenge for Signal lay not in its technology, but in its wider adoption. Sending an encrypted Signal message is great, but if your recipient isn't using Signal, then your privacy may be nil. Think of it like the herd immunity created by vaccines. Or the herd immunity created by getting a virus naturally and recovering. But for your herd immunity, but for your messaging privacy. Now that Musk's endorsements have sent a surge of users to get a privacy booster shot. However, that challenge may be a thing of the past. There you go. Like I said, I would definitely recommend Signal. It seems far and away the best option. More and more people starting to use it, and I'll bug people I know who aren't using it. I give my family a hard time whenever they send me something on Facebook Messenger. Why are you sending me this here? You have Signal, use it. So there you go. That's our kind of a breakdown of the three apps there, and the concerns you may have about security and privacy and that kind of thing. So good things to know. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. If you can, go donate your time or money at Texas Baptist Minute, tbmtx.org. But other than that, that's all I've got for you today. Thanks.